Houdini's secrets were as brilliant as the challenges that were put before him. Houdini in the early 1900s even wrote a book called Handcuffs Secrets. Now, why would Houdini actually reveal some of his most cherished secrets? That's because he wanted to debunk and stop the competitors from copying him. So, you want to learn one secret? What Houdini would do is he would strap this metal plate underneath his pants leg. And there are certain British handcuffs that if you had them on and if you were to smack it on that plate, they would pop open. Well, Scotland Yard read the book and they said, Houdini, is there any way you could just take that chapter out of the book? Houdini didn't, and the book was very interesting in its success because a lot of criminals were buying the book to figure out how to get out of certain cuffs. Another secret of Houdini is a piece of clay. No, not Play-Doh, but a hard clay. What Houdini would do is when someone was to challenge him, he would say, let me see the handcuffs. Houdini wanted to make sure the handcuffs and lock actually open up because a lot of times the people that were challenging them rigged the handcuff and the lock in such the way that no one would be able to open it. Once Houdini got that key in his hand, he had the clay palmed inside his hand. He would make an impression of the key, go backstage, and find which key would open up that lock. Handcuffs, restraints, locks of all types. Houdini would get out of cuffs specially made for certain challenges. Maybe the mirror handcuff challenge, the famous bean giant handcuff, or Judd, or burdocks, or lily irons. Or my favorite story is Captain McKinsey's mitts. There is less than 30 of these pair in existence in the entire world. Why? Well, imagine once you have these mitts on you, there's no way you can pick the lock or get out of them. Well, there was another problem with them. If you were a prisoner wearing these mitts, well, certain times when you have to go, you couldn't unzipper your fly. And next thing you know, when the prisoner guard did it to help the prisoner, wee-wee wars would break out. So that's the short lifespan of the McKenzie mitts. We also have a whole wide variety of different locks and different restraints. Houdini got out of every lock imaginable. Maybe a lock around a mailbag, or a lock around a trunk, or inside wooden crates with locks all around it. Every type of restraint, Houdini was always there because Houdini's brain was the key that set him free. Houdini had a confrontation and a friendship with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of Sherlock Holmes. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle said, "My wife, Lady Doyle, can bring back your deceased mother." During the seance, Lady Doyle went into a trance. All of a sudden, her hand started writing, supposedly communicating the message from Houdini's mother to Houdini. At the end, she showed Houdini the spirit writings. Houdini said, "Wait a second, my mother doesn't speak English, she only speaks German and Yiddish." Then Sir Arthur Conan Doyle said, no, spirits do exist. He showed Houdini a spirit photograph. Houdini says, you're showing me how fairies exist? I'll show you how Abraham Lincoln exists. I'll show you how other spirits exist. It was all camera trickery. During Houdini's show, he actually showed some of the spiritualism props. One of them is a plum metal hand, just like this. What would happen is during the seance, everyone would gather around the table. The medium would say, we're now going to turn off the lights. When I do, everyone please hold on to the person's wrist next to you. The lights would go out. The spiritualist would take out of their pocket this metal hand that actually is pliable. It's so pliable that the grip actually makes you feel the spiritualist hand is holding on to you. Just when you think there's no free hand of that medium, the medium goes underneath the table and is able to take a trumpet that collapses. They uncollapse it and Houdini! The weirdest noises and sounds happen. Then my favorite item that Houdini would show during his expose is called the extension rod. This is actually Houdini's very own extension rod. What I mean by extension rod, it extends and extends and extends and extends and extends and goes over 15 feet. And when you think that the spiritualist hand cannot have any freedom to even hold a rod like this, that's when the spiritualist makes the ghost go bump in the night. And just when you think things are going bump in the night, just realize that it's just a handkerchief. Can one really communicate with the spirits? Well, it all started around 1848 when the spiritualism faith became famous with three sisters, the Fox sisters, in Hydesville, New York. They were convincing the whole world that there were spirits inside their home, and these three young ladies had the powers to communicate to these spirits. Houdini in the late 1800s and his wife Bess actually performed some seances. What's ironic is, in the later years, Houdini went on a warpath against fraudulent mediums, and he exposed them during his show. Houdini was a skeptic, but he was actually open to the possibility. Houdini made a pact with his wife that if he was ever able to come back after he's gone, look for a certain code. And for 10 years after Houdini's death, on Halloween 1926, his beloved wife Bess actually had seances trying to speak to Houdini.
Houdini did not come through. My last hope is gone. I do not believe that Houdini can come back to me or to anyone. After faithfully following through the 10-year Houdini compact, using every type of medium and seance, it is now my personal and positive belief that spirit communication in any form is impossible.
Today, on Halloween, magicians throughout the world try to connect with Houdini. Unfortunately, no one has been able to do so.